What's going on? It's your friend Otis Julius, and this is the Otis Julius Show, episode 6. I'm your host, Otis Julius, and I am back from tour. That's right. I had this really great idea where I thought, you know what? I'm going to film episode 6, 7, and 8 while I'm out on the road. And, that didn't happen. The road is just so chaotic, and, I didn't have time for it, really. It wasn't about resources or not being able to do it. I just didn't have time to do it. So we took a little break, and now we're back here, episode 6. This episode is brought to you by Nii Corp, Cyber Skull Media, Rhythmic Records, 5 and Dime Productions, Chaotic Catastrophe, EmceeTv, Nice Enough Entertainment, Shots by Eagle, Almost Dope, and Cruise America. Remember all of those names. We're going to talk about them at the very end of the episode. All those people are very important to me, and you're about to find out why. But let's dive into this episode. We're going to take a little bit of a break from what we normally do. This episode, you guys asked for it. We're talking about the business side, the financial side of tour, and what this Chris Webby tour looked like for me. So there's a lot that goes into it. So, I think we're just going to dive into it. I've been DIY touring for years, and, I've seen all sides of the spectrum where, I don't know if spectrum's a word I'm allowed to use. I've seen all sides of touring where you lose money, you break even, you make money. I've been through it all. Well, I guess I haven't been through the part where I make like a ton of money, but we're trying to get there. But let's talk about this Chris Webby tour, how rad it was to be a part of the last Wednesday tour. I'm super blessed, super thankful. It took a whole team of people to make this work out. And let's dive into it. Expenses. You've heard people say touring is expensive, and there's definitely ways to cut costs, but touring costs money. That's for sure. My expenses just heading out on the tour for this, I'm going to pull this up right now. Here it goes. Okay. My expenses before I left the house, before anything, was $11,708. That's right. $11,708. We're just going to call that $11,700, and that is a ton of money. The most money I've ever spent on a tour, and it was absolutely terrifying knowing that that is what I was going out. That's what I was up against. Now, on a lot of these bigger tours, not everybody gets paid. I was a person that didn't get paid to be on the tour, and you know what? I am absolutely thankful and blessed and grateful to be on that tour. It just is kind of like, I don't want to say it's trading your work for exposure because that has such a negative connotation, but that's what it is, man. And I went out with a veteran in the rap game and had an amazing tour. And we played 10 shows, and in 10 shows, we saw around 5,000 people, probably closer to 6,000 people. It was amazing. These shows were great. Great responses, built great fans. It cost me $11,700 to be on the road. Now, let's break that down a little bit. I had some really big expenses. One of the really big expenses is going to be a tour vehicle. So I live in LA. I flew, so there's an expense. I flew from LA to Omaha. Got my organization done, had a couple rehearsal days. I had to have a rental car during that time. There's another expense. We toured out of a Cruise America RV. It's an RV rental. It's great for what I was doing. And the beauty of the RV is it allows us to drive a couple hours every night. You get done with shows and you have that after show adrenaline, and it kind of sucks to go back to a hotel and just sit in your hotel and hang out and not be able to sleep. So we drove every night. slept in truck stop parking lots, and it worked out great for what we were doing. Cruise America RV also gets really bad gas mileage, so that was another huge expense that we had. I also had a few hotel rooms that I had to pay for before we got the RV, whenever I got into Omaha. And then I had a couple rental cars, so I would be able to haul my stuff around. I was able to stay at my buddy Nick's house for a couple nights, and then it was a beautiful day. I used his driveway to organize my merch out in the sunshine. It was amazing. But there's just all sorts of crazy expenses. The most expensive is probably going to be your rental. If not, it's going to be, it's either going to be, for us, it was the rental RV. If you're not in an RV, it's going to be a hotel every night plus your rental car, then gas on top of that. So I have it cut into two different spots where tour expenses were $8,337. And then I had to re-up big time on merch before I went out on the road. Thankfully, I had some merch already that had been paid off and was just left over from my previous tour. And so I ended up spending, for this tour, I spent $3,371 on merch. That is pins, Lego minifigures, fanny packs, which sold horribly. I don't know why my fanny packs didn't sell well. I did fanny packs years ago and they sold amazingly well. My sunglasses, which sold really good. CDs, shirts, and then I have two different types of shirts because I have screen printed shirts and DTG shirts. If you guys want to know more about printing and qualities and what your best option is, definitely hit me up. I can even do a small segment about that in the future. That's not what we're talking about. All that to say, I spent $3,371 on merch. So $3,300 on merch, $8,300 on tour expenses, flights, rentals, fuel, etc., etc. Everything you can think of, Sharpies. Let's see here. I got Walmart stops. We rented an RV, so I had to have bedding for the RV. 2 car rentals. I had flights. Yeah, all of that added up to $8,300. Again, one more time, the total came up to $11,708. Absolutely terrifying, leaving my house in LA to go climb this mountain. We only had 10 shows. Now, I'm going to stop and say I used a little bit of a hack right here. I think 2 days. The tour, we had to leave for tour on a Tuesday. So Sunday night, I booked my own at Sioux City headlining show, tour kickoff. What I got paid to perform plus my merchandise, I came out to $1,375 on the night. So that is a huge part of me possibly breaking even on this tour. I couldn't have done it without that show. Shout out to the Icky Nickel. That show was rad. I will be back. On this tour, like I said, I was not getting paid. Everything, if I were to break even, had to come from merch sales. That was pretty wild. That's a huge mountain to climb. We had some Tuesday and Wednesday shows, and it was just like, all right, we're in it. Let's see. And we went for it. So we hit the road. I'm going to pull up my merch tab here. All said and done in merch sales, I sold $11,241 worth of merch for these shows. That's the 10 Webby shows plus the 1 Sioux Falls show. Sioux City, plus the 1 Sioux City show. So that's about a rack a night. No, not even about, that's what it is. 11,700 is what my expenses were. 11,241 is what I sold. So it looks like I lost, what, $460 on this. But there's kind of like this beautiful light at the end of the tunnel here. Is, if you guys saw, we had sponsorship availabilities for this tour. Not for the tour, but just for me, for Otis and DJ Straw. It was not a Chris Webby sponsorship. It was not a Last Wednesday tour. It was a Otis Julius sponsorship. And we sold 6 sponsorship deals. We knew we were up against something really difficult, but we also knew we were doing something really cool. It'd be a great way to get people's names in front of 5,000 people. It would be a great way to involve people that believed in us. It would be a great way for people to grow with us and come along on this really cool journey that we were a part of. That means I went on the Chris Webby tour with 0 payment, $11,700 invested, and did not lose money. That is unbelievable. I am absolutely stoked about it. What did I end up pocketing on this? I ended up pocketing $984, all because of my sponsorships and people buying merchandise. Unbelievable. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions about the tour, any questions about the expenses, please let me know. I can't believe that I climbed this mountain. The entire time I was constantly telling Straw, like, this isn't going to work out. This isn't going to make sense. And he was constantly just telling me, like, dude, I believe in you. I think we can make this work. Dude, I believe in you. I think we can make this work. And thank goodness I trusted him, and it worked out. Obviously, putting up almost $12K to make $900 is not necessarily a good business a good business plan, but it worked out. Super stoked about it. Thank you guys so much. That's why I said these sponsors are super important. Nii Corp, Cyber Skull Media, Rhythmic Records, 5 and Dime Productions, Chaotic Catastrophe, EmceeTv. Shout out to DJ Strawstone and Nice Enough Entertainment, who went on this journey with me, helped hook it up, and was not fairly compensated. He came out to grow with me. Unbelievably cool. Shout out to Shots by Eagle. Came out and took some amazing photos, took some videos to help me remember this tour. That dude was not compensated. I appreciate him so much. He could not have done this without you. Thank you, Eagle. I appreciate it. Almost Dope came into the tour. Super rad clothing brand that is locally owned and operated in Omaha, Nebraska by DJ Strawstone. And Cruise America hooked us up with an influencer deal. They gave us 40% off of our rental RV so that we could be out on the road if we provided content for them. Yeah, I'm super blessed. I can't believe we made this happen. If you have any questions about expenses or what it's like touring, please hit me up. I'm more than happy to give you that information. I can't believe we did it. Yeah, I'm stoked about it, man. This is super rad. Yeah, thank you guys. I can't wait to be back out on the road. That being said, let's jump into some Otis news. So like I've been saying, I just got home from the Chris Webby tour. It was absolutely amazing. Stoked to be back out on the road again. Me and Straw are already working on our next tour. We don't have the dates yet. It's still coming together. We do have a theme and a name that we're going with. I'm not going to drop it yet. You can drop your speculations or what you would like to see us do. But if you want to see us come to your city, let me know. We're probably going to be hitting a bunch of markets we always hit. We'll probably hit some new markets. I'm really excited about this tour. Can't wait to be back out on the road. Go stream Caitlin and Sophie. Still streaming everywhere. We had some amazing shows. I even got to stage dive during that song. Who would have knew that I would dunk on a crowd during a WNBA song? That's really dope. Go listen to that song. It's amazing. I do have some leftover merch from tour. Hit me up if you need anything. This is episode 6 of the Otis Julius Show. There's 4 more episodes, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 more episodes so I talk about this crazy story that I started this whole podcast just to tell. So stay tuned in. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Again, thank you so much to the sponsors that helped on the tour. If you've been watching this podcast, you will also see that each sponsor from the tour has been presenting the episodes going down the road. I think, yeah, I'm also wearing my Cyber School Media shirt today. Shout out to those dudes. They were like the marquee sponsor on the tour. Super rad podcast. Handed out a whole bunch, hundreds and hundreds, if not, I mean, probably thousands. I'm assuming thousands of Cyber School Media stickers. Yeah, really cool. It's great having their sponsorship on the tour. They came out to 3 of the shows. It was super dope to see them out on the road. Yeah, man, tour's a blast. I'll probably tell some really good stories from tour on the next episode. If there's anything you want to know about the tour, about music business, anything like that, please shoot me a message and I'll go over it in the next episode. Or if it doesn't make sense for me to go over it in the next episode, just shoot me a message and I'll get you an answer squared away. Yeah, my name's Otis Julius. Thank you guys so much for being part of this journey with me. Tune in next week and we'll hear some tour stories, kind of get back to a regular format. But thank you guys so much for watching. Much love. Again, Nii Corp, Cyber School Media, Rhythmic Records, 5 and Dime Productions, Chaotic Catastrophe, EmceeTv, Nice Enough Entertainment, Shots by Eagle, Almost Dope, Cruise America. We could not have done this tour without you. I guess that's not true. We could have done it without you. I just would have lost money. So thank you guys so much.